And welcome to Senior Moments. I'm Jackie Sibley Newton, your host. This is a broadcast service of Cleveland Community College on C19 TV, on Spectrum Cable, but you can also see it on C19.tv. And we hope that you will share that link with friends and family, maybe who haven't seen the show and need to get this information. Today, my guest is Sergeant Dan Burnett with the City of Shelby Police Department. And we're going to be talking about senior safety and how the City of Shelby really does take an interest in keeping our senior citizens safe. I know that there are some specific things that the city does to help with our seniors, but what are some of the biggest safety issues for senior citizens?
So some of the biggest safety issues would be slips and falls, due to mobility issues of a senior resident, home fires and burns, which will usually stem from cognitive issues of placing something on the stove and then forgetting about it. Medication errors, again, because of cognitive issues where they may forget to take the medication or maybe take too much of the medication.
Right.
Home security, where they may not have an up-to-date alarm system or camera system, surveillance system in the home. And then online safety, where a lot of seniors are targeted for scams, whether it be like, for example, meeting here to win a prize. That's one of our biggest ones, where you want a vehicle, we'll deliver it to, say, for example, Walmart, where they need a deposit or a transfer fee over a certain amount of money.
Oh, wow.
And then it goes into your social media platforms of, dating websites or, looking for companionship, and then end up getting scammed out of money that way.
Yeah, I know that being scammed out of money either over the telephone or through social media seems to be a
Yes.
really big thing, or even, I guess, email.
Mhm.
They'll get emails pretending to be a family member or through a dating site, trying to
Yes.
get information or money through that.
Mhm.
And I know a lot of seniors get scammed that way. Is their first response to call the city police, or should they call county or state? Who do they, or their bank? What should they do in situations where they found themselves
If
in that situation?
if fraudulent activity has occurred, normally they're going to be notified by their bank. Whenever they come to the police department for an investigation, of course, we would need bank statements to see where the transaction occurred, so that correct investigation with proper jurisdiction, where did it take place, example. We would need to corroborate all that information before an investigation is complete.
Yeah. And then I know that if you're concerned about your neighbor, maybe you have an elderly neighbor, is the correct phone call to the police for that check, or do they call EMS? Maybe we haven't seen the neighbor out watering her flowers in a while, or where do we call for a safety check?
So it would be the non-emergency line, which for Shelby Police Department would be 704-484-6845. And that rings directly to our communication center, which you can also have an officer dispatched that way.
Okay. Now, do people still do community watch programs? Is that still a thing?
Yes, we do have those still.
Okay. What kind of programs does the city offer for things like that?
With the community watch programs, those meetings are usually held once a month. We've kind of moved that to once a quarter now.
Okay.
And that's various neighborhoods coming together about concerns where, they can do an outreach to the police department about, whether it's speeding or foot traffic in the area, street lights that's out, so that we can try to address those issues. And that's the whole stability of that type program. Some of our other programs for seniors are the Are You OK program. That program is designed for where a senior can have the police department call them every day. They're usually 3 different times of their choice, usually 7, 8, 9 a.m. are the 3 times that are chosen. If they do not answer the first time, there will be an attempt to call back. And if they don't answer at that time, then an officer will be dispatched for a welfare check.
So how does someone get on that program?
Just to notify the police department, and then we'll get you in contact with Christy Huggins that will get them enrolled in that program.
Okay. So let's say that I want my mom on that program. My mom may not know how to get enrolled. So I would call the police department and say, hey, I really want my mom checked on. I don't live here. I want my mom checked on a couple of times a day, or I want her called once a day. So I could do that for my mom, or my mom would have to make that call?
No, you can make that call.
Okay.
And then on the non-emergency line, and then we'll get in touch with Christy Huggins, and then she will get you signed up for your mother's address and get you on that system.
Okay. And then if she doesn't answer, you're going to try one more time to call. And then if there's no answer, then there'll be a wellness check just to check on her and see if she's okay.
Correct.
Okay.
And going off of that program, a lot of times if it's an elderly person that lives alone, we do have like a lockbox system where a key can be established and held at the police department to be given to the officer to make entry into the home. A lot of times we see this with individuals that may have fall issues, where they will fall down, and instead of us damaging the door by forcing entry, we can come into the home and allow EMS to come in for treatment.
Well, they may also not be able to hear.
That's correct.
You know, that could be an issue too.
Yep.
So not being able to hear the phone, or not being able to hear, and I know, you know, just my own mom,
Yep.
she can't hear her phone because she has it turned off all the time.
That's
The ringer
correct.
is turned down.
Yeah.
She turned it off for church on Sunday and she forgot to turn it back on. So, you know, it may be that situation. So they just need to be checked on.
And that system also is utilized a lot through our Life Alert, you know, our residents that are on Life Alert, where, you know, if they activate their Life Alert, then we can come out and again make entry into the home without damaging or forcing entry to the home.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well, that's good to know. I didn't realize that Life Alert would call, I guess I thought it would call the ambulance first, but I guess you guys get the call too. So I
Yeah,
wasn't
so
thinking
we
about
would
that.
go out for the forced entry. But again, if we have a key on file, then
Then that
we're able to
prevents
go
that.
out and unlock that home so that we don't have to damage any of the property.
Well, that's very convenient.
Mm-hmm.
And then that also kind of probably gives you an opportunity to get to know a little bit more about the home, if they have a dog or they have any kind of thing that you need to know about.
Yes.
That helps as well, because if you just enter the home, you might not know what the normal is,
That's correct.
and now you kind of know a little bit about what normal looks like for them.
And we do have residents that prefer not to bring a key, but wish to have it in a safe spot hidden on the curtilage of the property. And it is notated in the call for that residence where we can locate that key on scene.
Oh, okay.
So that's just another option or benefit that we have to offer.
Well, that is cool. I did not know this existed, and they would just call the non-emergency number. Can you give us that number again?
It's 704-484-6845.
And then let them know that they want to be part of the Are You OK program, and they would walk through all the options for what's available to be able to do that. Once they sign up, is there an initial home visit with them, or will you just wait until you get that first call to
If
do
it's
a visit?
requested, we will go out, but usually, to my knowledge, that we don't have that issue.
Okay.
Where they wish for us to go out. It's just all the information's on file, notated for the residents, for the
Okay.
responding officer to be able to have access to that information.
Okay. Well, that is helpful information.
Mm-hmm.
Do you record things like that person's a diabetic, or if that information is provided? I guess that's in the notes.
Yes, that should be on the form to fill out of medical history, et cetera. So again, all of that can be notated in the call. And usually with EMS, I mean, they have, you know, a response history, address history, which will lead into a patient history of their medical issues as well.
Very helpful information. So what are some other things that senior citizens can do to help keep themselves safe at home? I know getting a security system is just a really good idea if you're going to be home, even if you live in a really, what's considered a really safe neighborhood. What are some benefits to having a security system?
So obviously, it's any type of surveillance you know, video system where it can be, you know, monitored and recorded 24 hours a day. You know, like for example, CPI. They offer, you know, in-home cameras where they can be monitored by the alarm company. And then it also is beneficial if there's a house fire or even a medical emergency. That keypad can be activated to have the appropriate agency respond.
Yeah.
A lot of our issues with seniors is, you know, they're kind of old-fashioned and they don't believe in anything modern. They, you know, a lot of them would like to still leave their doors unlocked, et cetera, but these are just preventive measures that, you know, they could take to help their home be safer.
Right. And I think that seniors sometimes are targeted as an easy target for criminal behavior. It's just they feel like maybe they move slower, maybe don't think as fast. They would just be an easier target, maybe more likely to have cash on hand. So it would just make sense for them to be more cautious.
Correct.
Not that all of us don't need to be more cautious,
Right.
but I just feel like sometimes they're more targeted and we just need to be more cautious. And as neighbors, we need to be good neighbors and watch out for our neighbors who are senior citizens as well, because I feel like that's just something that people are easily targeted for that reason. What are some ways that people need to be protective of themselves when they're not in their homes?
So especially for seniors, I always strongly encourage if they have to go out in public, whether it's to a grocery store, to not go alone, to take someone with them, especially at night. You know, another tip that I always tell them is to not carry valuables with them. You know, a pocketbook, if you're using a debit card, put it in your pocket and leave your pocketbook at home. Because that makes them an easy target as well.
Yeah.
By, you know, an offender. That's usually something that they're, whether it's purse snatching or something like that.
Right, they're gonna look for that big pocketbook.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they could lift my mama's big old pocketbook, but she got everything in the world
Yeah,
in there.
I understand.
It could be a weapon in its own.
Yeah, I understand that.
But yeah, it does make an easy target. And you know, it's also something that I know I tell ladies all the time, you're spending your time looking down in there, you're not paying attention to your surroundings, and that's a problem. You can't be at your car digging around for your car keys. Have those car keys with you. Don't be digging around in there, because that's the time that you're a target.
Yeah.
So be aware of your surroundings as well while you're out.
And another thing that may be beneficial, I should say, is if they have a capability of a smartphone, you know, some type of location service where it's like Life 360 or Find My iPhone, where another family member has capability to monitor that. And that's always, you know, good advice for them. You know,
Yeah.
because a lot of times if they have those cognitive issues and get lost, we hope that they do have that cell phone where it makes for us as far as law enforcement of tracking them down, it's a lot easier for us.
It's a whole lot easier to find them.
Yes.
And it's so easy for senior citizens, even maybe they don't have memory issues, but they're out at night and things just look different. And now they can't find their way back home. Maybe they missed an exit and that's not the normal way to get home, and now we don't know where we are.
That's correct.
And having Life 360 at least gives a family member an opportunity to say, okay, I can tell where you are. I can either come get you, or I can give you directions on how to get back to where you need to be. And I mean, it's easy to happen. So
Yeah.
it's a big
And
benefit.
the last option that I would give advice on is if they're not willing to leave that pocketbook at home and they're one of those that just like to carry it out. You know, air tags, they're reasonable, and they're easily concealed, and they work great.
Yeah, they do. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and talk more about senior safety here in Cleveland County.
The only prediction I'd make is I'd be pretty willing to bet I won't be doing it in 20 more years.
My question is, where's our residual checks?
244 have taken Republican ballots, and Wes and 2 others have taken Libertarian ballots.
Pravda, however, TBS, however.
Wes.
Well, what-
Ladies
and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Chef Paul Prudhomme once said, "You don't need a silver fork to eat good food." Well, on Cleveland County Kitchen, we don't have a silver fork, but we sure do serve up lots of good food. Hi, I'm Deborah Blanton. I hope you'll join me for the next Cleveland County Kitchen. Each month, we offer a complete farm-to-table experience. We visit local growers, we learn about nutrition, and wrap things up with wonderful meals prepared by our guest chefs. It's a lot of fun. I hope you'll join me for the next Cleveland County Kitchen.
Hi, welcome back to Senior Moments. I'm Jackie Sibley Newton, your host, and today we're talking with the City of Shelby Police Department with Sergeant Dan Burnett and we're talking about senior safety. And one of the things that we talk a lot about is senior safety with scammers. There is just a lot of different ways that senior citizens are scammed. What are some of the ways that you see are most common?
So, like we spoke earlier, I think one of our biggest concerns that we see are saying they won some type of prize. And, again, just saying if it's a vehicle or they've won a certain amount of money, but they need to pay for a transfer fee or
the taxes
whether it's,
or, yeah.
a routing fee, and then they can obtain banking information that way to your personal checking account or savings account, or just getting you to maybe meet out at a place to potentially be targeted or kidnapped or something there as well.
Yeah.
So you have to keep that in mind.
And then I know there's some senior dating sites that have been particularly damaging. And I know, people, they're widows and widowers and they're looking for some companions, and they might meet somebody online that they're talking to. Tell me how that have you seen that?
I have seen it, Jackie, and actually I've seen several people in different facilities in the community talking to the same individual. And this individual, where he was, a major in the military, and he would have a photo in his dress blues, different types of photos that way, and he had different names for each profile. And he was a ladies' man. He was able to tell them via text on what they wanted to hear as far as companionship. And I've had a few that did basically submit some bank information and have some fraudulent activity that way, but come to find out this individual's not even in the United States.
Yeah, and I know we've had some residents that have lost some money talking to someone that was not in this state, and he needed money to get here to be with them, and those are just never a good idea. So we need to be careful of that. And then also getting information from the IRS. The IRS is not going to send you an email. They're most likely to contact you in other ways.
Yeah, they would send a letter. It would always come by mail if you were contacted by the IRS, or usually the Social Security as well. It's usually a certified letter. A lot of your phone calls from the IRS are saying you owe some type of back taxes. So from the senior, they may be
That's
frightened
gonna be
by that,
scary,
and
yeah.
easily to send that payment over the phone. And again, once that banking information has been sent over the phone, whether it's a debit card or, a electronic check to obtain that banking and routing information, then, bad things happen from there.
Right. And it's so easy for the bank account to get cleaned out quickly.
Yes.
Luckily, banks are more aware. So they watch that a lot more closely than years ago, and you can get a call from the bank saying, hey, we don't think that this is good.
Yeah.
But at that point, panic has already set in, and it's just a long time before you're able to recover everything and get everything back. So we want to avoid that. Now, I know that the city of Shelby has a program because Terabella has been lucky enough to have Coffee with COP. So tell me what that is about in the city of Shelby.
So Coffee with a Cop, I've revamped this program, started it back a few months ago. It's always been a tradition for us here at the police department, which kind of faded out, but it's to basically build those relationships with our seniors. These seniors are placed in these facilities, and a lot of times they're forgotten about either by family, or friends that may have passed that they don't have anymore, and so they get lonely. And this program is designed for us to build those relationships. Just let them know that, they do matter, and we at Shelby Police Department, we want to get out and be involved in that relationship building with them.
And to be part of the program, do communities call you and set that up, or do you, how does it work? How do they be involved? I mean, I know we're already involved, but
Yeah,
how
so
does that, how do they get involved?
any facility can reach out to me, and I will say I try to do at least one facility a month. There was a possibility now going into our winter months where we don't have a lot of other events going on that we could look at doing some more each month. But just simply reach out to me, and I would definitely get scheduled to get into those facilities as well.
And I know the residents do love it.
Yes.
Even though residents may have family and friends that come and visit, it's still fun for them to have y'all come in and sit and talk with them. They get to learn things about what's going on in the city. They get to ask questions and have a visitor that's not family. So they do enjoy that, and it does mean a lot to them to have that extra attention, and just extra attention from somebody from the outside to come
and
in.
Jackie, they are different. One facility it may just be to socialize. A lot of the veterans, they like to sit down and tell war stories, and or just be a listening ear, and I find it rather informative. I love history, so I love talking to those veterans. But the last one we done was at the senior center, and they had a lot of community-based questions, and some concerns as well, such as speeding in their neighborhood, or they had some new construction and some questions about some theft that had went on about new building materials. So it's an opportunity for them to expose those questions to us, and we can answer them as well.
Yeah, so an opportunity for them to engage in the community.
Yes.
And so that's beneficial as well. And I know you visited with our memory care residents who just enjoyed having a police officer there. They thought that was just the coolest thing ever, to get to have coffee with a police officer. And we have veterans who did enjoy getting to talk to you. We have some former police officers, people who were in law enforcement, who enjoyed being able to kind of relive that for a minute. So that was enjoyable for them. So we enjoy that and appreciate that you're able to do that for our senior citizens.
Yes, ma'am.
And I
We
hope
enjoy it
that-
too. We definitely enjoy their company. They make a difference and impact our lives.
Well, and like you said, it's history that we don't want to lose. We don't want to lose
Yeah.
those stories, and I'm glad that residents have the opportunity to pass those stories down and to continue to tell their stories, because they live very rich and valuable lives and still have that to give.
Yep.
And so I appreciate that you come and share that with us, and that you allow them to share that with you. And thank you for all that you do to keep the citizens of Shelby safe.
Yes, ma'am.
And thank you for all of this advice. If anybody has any questions, they should call the non-emergency line, which is what again?
704-484-6845.
And that's also how people get involved in the Are You OK program.
Correct.
And they can ask other questions about senior safety and how to be more involved in all the other programs that are available.
Correct.
Not just for senior citizens, but you have other things like Kid Cop Camp and other programs through the city that they can be involved in and ask questions about.
We do, and if they have social media, just like our SPD Facebook page, and we post a lot of information on there as well.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
And we thank you for watching the show. We hope that you enjoyed and learned something. Please share the show at C19.tv with friends and family, and see us back on the next one.